One of the amazing things about Advent is that you cannot take it seriously and remain the person you were. The human adventure begins with that incredible call to Abraham to go into the land that I will show you. And off he goes in faith into the unknown. In truth, this is also our daily walk, but we like to think that we are in control. What a long lesson that is in living. Advent comes back each year to remind us that if we walk in faith, in trust, we are following a way into God's adventure, not the one we might have planned. As we draw ever closer to Christmas, we have to be struck by that puzzling line at the end of Matthew's account of the visit of the wise men. We read, "They left for their own country by another road." Yes, it was certainly to avoid the snares of Herod, who realizes by now that he has been tricked. But it means much more than that. What had they come seeking, these wise men? We do not know. All the gospel tells us is that these star scholars have traveled for some time in their search for the King of the Jews. They have come prepared to offer gifts to that king. Instead, they find themselves paying homage to a child of the poor. And then they return by another road. They have to have been changed. How long did they stay in Bethlehem? What conversations did they have with Mary and Joseph? What questions and what explanations were part of their visit? We have the answer to none of these questions. But as with each of those who come to the child, they return changed in some way. In our prayer time this week, we might consider what they shared on that return trip, their introduction to the faith of Mary and Joseph, and the parents' hopes for the future of a child asleep in the manger. Have you ever wondered what they brought back to the family and neighbors in their far-off lands? Were these three the first missionaries? But they are not the only ones transformed. Take a new look at those shepherds from the hillsides. They follow the directions from the heavenly choir, they seek the child, and they tell everyone what they have witnessed that night. They too were apostles of the word. They, from the loneliest of jobs, found a way to become the topic of conversation in little Bethlehem. Part of the Christmas story is not just the good news, but the need to share it. A private faith is only the beginning. News is only news if it becomes public, right? Good news that we have to keep to ourselves is a contradiction in terms. The Christmas story does not end in Bethlehem's stable. It just begins there. We each are challenged to take the story with us into our world that desperately needs some good news. Will you too leave this annual visit to Bethlehem by another road? Or will you be untouched by these days of God's amazing love for us? Will you put Christmas away with the ornaments and the unused wrapping paper and go back to being the person you were before? I hope not. Our Advent prayer has to ask that we might, in some way, in our circumstances, become a person of deeper faith, of greater concern for others, of sturdier hope. That is how we share the good news. We have no need of a street corner for preaching. How we live says it all. So may the graces of this road stretch across the calendar days of a dawning new year, so that the message of Bethlehem goes on and on. Christmas is not a day. It is a way of life. Jesus longs to live in each of our lives. Let's make that happen this year. Blessed Christmas.